Pod of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting. Brought to you by whoever the highest bidder is in the near future. We'll see. There's a vacancy at the top of the show.
Yeah, we're on the open market at this point.
Yep. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds, but hey, you know who I am.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
What's wrong?
So earlier today,
Uh-oh.
we were in our group message.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
The topic of flat...
There's a lot of things in that group message that should not be for public consumption, so I'm nervous.
Like all of it, but go on.
It was just a quick mention of the flat Earth theory.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Andy says, I'm a flat baller. I'll be sharing my controversial opinions tonight.
Oh, no.
So then I said, here come old flat ball. And then Chris said, balls that look like Necco wafers. Then Andy said, pancake-like balls, two-sided pancake balls.
Yep.
So then I made Andy some theme music based around this.
Well, okay.
All right.
I'm excited. Well, you know me.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here come all flat balls look like Necco wafers. You got pancake-like balls, two-sided pancake balls. You got ball down to his knees.
Wow.
So there you go.
Jeez. Quick turnaround on
That is
that.
excellent.
For whatever reason, was inspired to turn a conversation
You did it.
into that.
Excellent performance. That's right in your range. You sound right at home singing that. Excellent performance. I'm a flat baller, and that is now my theme song.
Well, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
The vacancy at the top of the program is well deserved.
That's true. If someone listens to this as a sample of whether or not to jump on board with us, the answer will be no.
They've already jumped off board
yeah.
at this point.
And you know what?
Well,
With the mention of Necco wafers.
Oh, well, he's already in here, but a few minutes ago he wasn't. We got a whiff of boiled cabbage, and
oh, did you?
there he came. Yes, Nick Pollock, dancing his way across the studio, over to his seat next to Chris. Look at that, right on the couch. There he is.
On a dime every time.
Good evening.
People responded favorably to Nick and Lester. I was
That's
pretty
true.
happy about that.
Oh, yeah, Nick and Lester.
That was another hit.
One hit after another. 8 years in, we can't stop. We're trying, we can't.
We're trying to fail.
Yeah, we've been looking for reasons to quit for 8 years and change. Like everything else we do, we've failed. So
Yeah. But for some reason, here we are. And of course, you know that voice. And you want him, but I'm sorry. We got him. Come on.
succumb to my power, my age, and my weight, all of which are considerable.
Yes, put your hands together for the breakout star of the podcast medium. That is Chris L. We're all here. We're in the same room. We're ready for Pod of Thunder. Nick does not have any foil.
No.
Yeah, what happened?
He
was putting together the song.
I came to a crossroads.
Yeah.
And, decided to make the clip instead. Speaking of foil, though, you know what, for a makeshift snare drum, what I used, the foil, the box of foil, because it's got that little, almost sounds like a trap with the foil crinkling when you hit it.
So you were just like slapping it?
Yeah, I was hitting it with like a marker.
Look at you. It sounded good.
Yeah.
So the foil's here in a way.
A technique like that has been used since the recording of Metal Gods on British Steel.
Do they have something with foil?
It's something with chains or whatever it is to simulate the marching in of metal gods, robots or whatever.
There you go. All right.
It's 40 years in the making. 40 years between that type of usage in a rock and roll recording.
Well, Nick, it's okay that you didn't bring anything. You know why?
No.
It's diet time again.
It might as well be.
Yeah, so we'll take a break this week. Here we are. I don't even know what to say, guys. Are we ready to get into this? It's Chris's turn to pull something from the listener submission
It
list.
is.
Via
It's
the
going to be good.
Bozo
I'm going to
computer.
predict something good here.
How come? You
I
feeling
don't know.
good?
I'm feeling. Yeah. There's an electricity.
You've been on a good roll. Had some good episodes.
Well, are you
Good
predicting?
picks too.
Are you predicting something good on the first pull or just in general?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Chris, you can stay in your seat. I will send these to
That's
you.
what I always do.
Nick, you're going to need to pull the lever.
Yep.
All right.
I can't wait.
Gulp up some oxygen. Gonna need it.
All right, here we go.
Stand by. Let's go over to the Bozo computer.
Tell you, Professor Andy could have been in Yes, Genesis, Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Could have done it all.
Could
Chris
have
got
if he
number,
wanted to.
Chris got number 3179 on our list of about 3,800 or so.
Oh, this is an interesting one, mainly because the band is a big favorite of Andy's guy, the Punch It guy.
Oh, okay.
But I'm gonna put it back in the hopper
Okay.
and see what else is in
Would
there.
you like to reveal who submitted it? If you guys want to carry on that
Yeah, I'm good.
tradition.
This is from Tyler Wilson. We've gotten many good submissions from
So
Tyler.
something
in the
interesting.
past.
I don't
from
know if
Tyler.
this is a good submission. It's just interesting that Andy's one of his favorite human beings is a big fan of this band.
It is interesting.
I only know one song by them, and it's a cover, and I like it. So that's why I'm keeping it in the mix, just in case.
Can't think of who that would be.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I wouldn't have guessed that. All right, Nick, give it another pull,
Yeah,
please.
here we
Ching. All right. It's number 37, 34, very low on the list.
Oh,
there,
boy.
At the bottom, alphabetical order by artist.
I like Oh Boy.
Okay, I think this trumps the first one. 'Cause we'd have a better discussion about it, I think. But I'm still want to see what's in store for poll number 3.
So who sent that one? Sorry, you
I'm going to guess
scrolled away.
multiples on this one.
Yeah, there's 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Neil
This is a-
Johnson twice. He must have been drinking one of those times. Mark Perillo, Matt Taliaferro. I had to move my head. There was a glare on your last name.
Yeah, this is a big one. So
Wow.
we'll see what happens on number 3, but at the very least, we're doing poll number 2.
All right. One more pull, Nick. Give it to us.
Yep.
All right. You got 1734, which is coming to your phone right now. All right. There you go.
Ooh,
My goodness.
damn.
It keeps getting better
This
and
one's
better.
from Kevin Williams, our pal who's been on the show
Mr. QB
a couple years
himself.
back.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Iron calves himself.
I'm picking poll 3 because poll 2 is from a band we've done before.
Fair.
So, yeah, I want to open it up to a new band. Well, a band we haven't done before,
Ooh,
but
all right.
yeah, poll 3 for sure. Plus, you can't go wrong with a Kevin Williams recommendation.
Alrighty, it's time to pull. What am I talking about? It's time not to pull anything, to turn the microphone over to Chris Jericho.
I know all this information, so I can
All right.
I can read it.
You do the deal.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, Hamill. This one's called
Over My Head,
Off of
Gretchen Goes to Nebraska,
by the band.
King's X.
Ow!
Okay.
So, Nick, what are your first thoughts?
First thoughts whenever I hear anything about King's X is the song Black Flag. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was their hit, I guess, if you want to.
Well, I mean, they had a
Their
few.
heavy MTV rotation for a brief period.
Yeah, yeah.
So I recall that one, and basically, I always think, okay, these guys are like the musicians, or musicians band.
You're not wrong about that, but when you think musicians band, you just think like musicianship for the sake of musicianship, like a Dream Theater type thing. The songwriting is definitely more accessible than that. They just never really latched onto the public consciousness in a way that would catapult them to superstardom. But yeah, I mean, musicians definitely love them, but I think a lot of their songs could have and should have gotten more traction with the general public, but never really happened for them. But they're still at it.
Yeah.
They're a trio, right?
Trio, yes.
And isn't, forgive me for forgetting the bassist vocalist's name.
Doug Pinnick.
He's in, what's the super group sort of thing that he's doing?
With Lynch and Ray Luzier. I think it's KXM.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that I'm aware of as well.
Yeah, no, that's a good band. But, so for me, this was the breakthrough song of theirs. King's X is a band I discovered on MTV. When I saw this video, I was hooked immediately. This is album number 2. I went out and bought it immediately, circled back to album number 1, and then started moving forward with as the new albums came out. I was acquiring them.
Is it early 90s or late 80s?
This is late 80s.
89.
89, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you a couple comments here, because this was actually submitted twice. Once by Kevin Williams, and he says nothing.
What?
Kevin said nothing.
This guy has a podcast of his own, and he has nothing to say.
Well, this was January 2019, which is, I think, right when we opened the listener submission list.
Oh,
maybe he didn't
right.
realize the importance of the comment at the time. And then we've also got one from Rich Z.
Rich Zai, another former Guitar Center co-worker.
Ah, okay.
He says, recently resurfaced in my life on Facebook.
Very cool.
Yeah.
He says, criminally underrated.
When's the last time you saw the word underrated without criminally in front of it? Certainly in reference to King's X. You just don't have... It's like assless chaps that they're always combined together. You don't really need both words, but you always see both of them.
Well, yeah, I guess we'll decide if we all agree with that.
What's the extent of your knowledge of this band, Andy?
Here's what I know about King's X. I remember the song Black Flag, so I was probably sitting with Nick watching it on MTV. Never owned any of their albums. I know I heard some of them in the background when I used to hang out with those Solvask guys.
Yeah.
Because they were fans of this band. But I never owned any of their stuff. Always sounded cool, but I don't know. Just never, from what I heard, wasn't the immediate need to go buy this feeling that you had. But,
yeah.
But, I'm not ruling it out for now.
I
was 20 then.
Black Flag was on the self-titled album, which is album number 4, I believe. Mm-hmm. The album preceding it, Faith, Hope, Love, the first single, It's Love, was probably their biggest quote-unquote hit.
Okay.
And then they, fifth album was Dogman, so they got kind of heavier. They had a slot at Woodstock 94, I believe.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
And even with all these great albums and huge exposure opportunities, they just never latched on to the big time.
Yeah.
But they're still at it, and they performed on the Kiss cruise that I was on, which made me extremely happy. Kevin Williams was on that cruise as well. I think together we saw every one of their performances, which they played the same set every time they played, but none of us minded it.
Well, I guess that makes sense. On a cruise, it's like you're doing your act. You know what I mean?
But it was a cruise, like, I don't know how many people they fit on that boat. 1,000 maybe. Mm-hmm. Whatever amount of people were on the Kiss cruise, I would say numbers in the 4 digits. Mm-hmm. there were never more, at the absolute most, 20 people watching King's X.
My.
And it's just like, you know, a couple times Kevin and I and just some random guys, we were just like looking at each other. It's like, how come everybody on the ship isn't watching these guys? And it's just something you can't explain. They just don't, never latched on to the big time popularity.
I mean, I could see at some point them getting an Anvil-esque documentary.
Well, I hope not. Because
But from that same sort of angle where, you know, you've got all your kind of typical rock stars in there talking about how great these guys are.
Yeah.
I could see that happening at some point, like a retrospective almost.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think they'd be worthy of it, but it would be interesting to try and sort of come up with the reason why they weren't hugely successful. But I don't know. Just didn't happen for them. I mean, they've continued a career for 35 plus years, so I mean, you know, could be worse, but you know.
What's the etymology of their name? Does anybody know?
It's rooted in some Christian, you know, symbolism, I believe. That was another thing that might have stigmatized them, for lack of a better word, off the bat, is that they were not necessarily marketed as such, but the word got around they were a Christian band.
Interesting.
And I think the King's X means the cross, possibly. So
okay, or it's from the Book of Kings, maybe.
It's possible. Yeah,
interesting.
But yeah, like I said, I saw this video on MTV. Was hooked immediately. I probably listened to this CD daily for the better part of a year when I was in college.
Okay,
just couldn't get enough of it. And like I said, this was album number 2, so I doubled back to the first one, Out of the Silent Planet, and then started acquiring the albums as they came out. So,
doesn't or didn't this guy, the bass guy, play one of those basses that also has like the octave guitar strings?
12-string bass.
Oh, he played a 12. Okay, okay.
So it's 2 sets of octave strings.
Isn't that what Tom Peterson plays?
Yes, correct.
I was going to show you this picture. So the guy that I knew that was into King's X, that was in that band that I mentioned earlier, Solvask, who played briefly in a band with Nick and I for about a year. Here's a picture of him playing with us at a show. He's got the mohawk and the 8-string bass with the octaves. So there you go. Definite influence, I think. He's got the King X vibe. King's
that
X
way.
vibe. Yeah. He's a Native American man with a mohawk.
Well, there you go. If he can't wear one, nobody can.
That's right.
So it's called Over My Head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think I know this one, unless it jumps out at me right after we start it. But I'm looking forward to it. This is one of those bands. There are several where they're on my list.
Yeah.
And I just somehow don't get to them.
Yeah.
And so maybe this will be a good opportunity, something for me to latch on to, check out the rest of the album.
Well, this is track 2 of 12. Their songs are all pretty long. I think the shortest one is still over 3 minutes, 3:07, but a lot of them are in the 5-minute range. Definitely a full-length album. No question about that.
Yep.
Does this fall as one of your favorites on the album, Chris?
Well, this is probably their signature song, I would think. This or Dog Man, depending on when you got on board with the band.
Okay.
But like I said, I think this is the song that broke them through for a lot of people. Videos from the first album didn't really make it into the MTV rotation heavily, but this was on that Dial MTV show pretty regularly. People were responding to it, so
all right.
Yeah, this is as signature a song for them as there is in their entire catalog.
Same 3 guys in the band still?
Yeah. Yep. Never changed membership as far as I know.
It's crazy. All those years, and
Yeah.
They're still at it.
Yeah, it's good for them, but I'm just one level below being a household name.
Well, like I said, they had the opportunities. They had a slot at Woodstock in '94, and just never exploded for them.
Well, you guys ready to get into this?
Mm-hmm.
Too bad.
Oh.
Time to take a commercial. Oh, what a piece of shit that is. Don't buy that one. All right. Here we go.
I do really like that where that riff went after the chord progression.
Yeah.
Guitar sounds a little. I'm not sure how to describe the tone. Very interesting.
The tone
sound.
is very signature. Guitar nerds will agree. Well, I'm getting this right just because I'm versed in it, but his guitar tone from this era is a product of playing Fender Elite Stratocasters, which had a specific kind of like noiseless pickup in them. Mm-hmm. Not the typical stock. Well, they were stock in that model, but not the typical magnetic pole piece pickups that would typically be in a Strat. Into a Lab Series amplifier, which is a solid state amp. B.B. King is the only other really known player of Lab Series amps. But the Elite Strat also, I believe, had a preamp on board, kind of like the Clapton Strat.
Okay.
So it was a combination of those two pieces of gear that resulted in that sound, and very signature. So I'm glad you noticed that, because
pretty unique.
Yeah, and then got the riff going into a 9th chord into that. Definitely drew me in immediately when I first saw it.
I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music. Over my head, it's loud and clear. It's going to my head. Music, I hear music. Music, I hear music. Music. Oh, 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 Lord. Music over my head.
It's interesting, like just some of the artists that it's bringing to mind, because I'm getting like very much, especially that oh part. It's like very 80s, like pure pop, 80s kind of thing, almost Prince-y.
Little of that in there, sure.
I mean, there's some little guitar moments that remind me of like it would be in an Extreme song.
Yeah.
Living Color, like that kind of funk rock from that era.
All of that stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Dan Reed Network, all that stuff is in that same wheelhouse.
It reminds me of In Excess a little bit too. Like
there you go.
Maybe the drum beat, the tone of the drum beat. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's an interesting comparison. I don't think I've ever heard that, but it's not a bad one. I think from a musicianship standpoint, there was some good playing going on in Excess music.
For
from
sure.
a pop band with a heartthrob lead singer. The band was on point. But yeah, great vocals, that grinding 12-string bass, all on point. And like I said, the video it's a performance video, but they've got some kind of there's some other elements to it. But Pinnock's got the mohawk. Speaking of mohawks, and they were an interesting looking band, multiracial. So definitely stood out from the pack amid all the hair metal and stuff. A lot of people ask me about it, they're like, well, if you weren't buying hair metal albums, what were you listening to in the 80s? Well, this is one of the bands I was listening to, Living Colour, you know, those sort of newer bands. But like I said before on the show, mid-80s when CDs were just starting to become available, I spent most of my time, you know, repurchasing more classic rock albums like Stones, Zeppelin, that type of thing, and also getting albums by them that I never owned before, just getting them on CD. So that was, you know, a lot of time and money spent on building back up the catalog with stuff that you'd previously had on cassette or LP, just getting it on CD. Now, this is another band where all three guys sing. The drummer, Jerry Gaskill, he probably has one or two lead vocals in the catalog, but he's mostly a harmony vocalist. But Ty Tabor, the guitar player, does a lot of lead vocals in King's X, and I think what you're hearing there when Doug isn't singing is Jerry and Ty singing harmonies there. So that's why you get the different vocal tones coming at you.
Wow, so they're all utility players too, huh?
Well, they're all just immensely talented. All of them sing. All of them are incredible on their respective instruments. So, yeah, you know, the talent is obviously off the charts. That's where you get the musicians band moniker, but you know, I think the vocal arrangements and the songwriting definitely had a, you know, more accessible element to it that, again, just never really latched on a huge scale.
She was saying, yeah, music, I hear music. Oh, music, I hear music.
Little Richard there a little bit.
A little bit. Sly Stone, there's some elements to that in the vocal.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But the soloing is just, it's so liquid and fluid, you know, how everything just smoothly goes together. Just an incredible guitar player overall, but his solos are pretty ridiculous in a good way.
I was enjoying that little kind of chromatic ascent there with the chords that we were just getting, the sort of dissonant
with the
chords.
ninth chords.
Are those ninths also?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and I probably said this on other episodes with similar type of stuff, but had to imagine that the guys in Stone Temple Pilots were influenced by this, because their original demo, half the song sounded like that that sort of ninth chord.
Yeah, you would think.
Kind of funk rock, dissonant kind of thing.
Here's the other thing that struck me when they were playing on the Kiss cruise, and they were, you know, especially. So here's how it goes on the Kiss cruise: is like each band does probably 4 or 5 sets at each venue on the boat. So there's like they don't do the full theater where Kiss plays, but there's all 3 or 4 smaller rooms on the boat, and then there's the main deck, you know, on the top where, you know, the fully open air, you know, out on the full deck. And didn't matter where they were playing. 12 people there, me, Kevin Williams, 10 other people. Among those, everyone we saw, among those 10 other people, you had Doug Aldrich, Tommy Thayer, Scotty Hill of Skid Row. It reminded me of what it was like playing in local bands early on in Chicago, where like all your buddies from the other peer bands came to see you. Mm-hmm. And it was just like that, except this is King's X on stage and in the crowd as the likes of guys I just rattled off. Just standing there, just mesmerized by what's happening on stage, just pure respect from these guys. And everybody else was doing something else on the boat, you know, watching Sophie Simmons' set instead of King's X. Very strange, but I couldn't have been more pleased to find out that King's X was playing on the KISS cruise I was going to be on, and I don't know, I felt hugely privileged to see them in that environment.
How many times do you think you watched them on that cruise?
I'm sure it was either 4 or 5 times that they played. I saw everyone.
And it was like a 5-day cruise? Or 7
Something like that, yeah.
Now, was it the time you went, or was it a different time where Enough's Enough was on there too? Because speaking of bands...
No, that was the one I was on, yeah.
Speaking of bands that are notorious for... They should have been huge. What happened?
I think you're going to say for bad hats.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
That quasi-psychedelic thing they brought to the hair metal genre.
Yeah, but just another band along with King's X that you hear a lot of people lament, like, how are these guys not way bigger than they are?
Yeah, I mean they had more elements of like power pop and again psychedelic kind of stuff, and very accessible, but just never cracked through on a grand scale. But yeah, they were on that cruise as well.
Hey!
Sonically, the bass right now is sounding a lot like Symphony of Destruction.
Oh yeah,
it's got that same kind of. It's just the one note kind of at that pace,
but it's got like that percussive sound.
Yeah,
to it.
like the actual
Is
sound
he a pick
of
player?
it.
He's a pick player for sure. I mean, it's kind of hard to get the real effect of a multi-string bass playing it with your fingers. I mean, it's not as it would be a little more subtle, and it doesn't have that percussive attack.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, he's a pick player on the bass. And also Jeff Ament of Pearl Jam playing the 12-string on Jeremy. Huge King's X fan. He on their live album, he plays with them they do a cover of Manic Depression, and the Pearl Jam guy is on it. So big fan. Again, all their peers, just huge fans, massive respect, but the general public just it never happened for them as it should have.
Thoughts on the solo, guys? Or that solo?
I still just can't get over like the overall sound of it. It's very interesting. It's like it surrounds you, sort of, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's great. The production is great on their early albums, really most of their albums, but again, it's that signature tone that comes from a combination of those pickups into a particular solid state amp that you would never expect it to sound that good, but it's one of the signature tones in rock history that guitar nerds chase after and respect immensely.
Over my head, I hear music, oh Lord. Music, music, I hear music, music, I hear music, 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 oh, 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 yeah. Music over my head, music, I hear.
Another tidbit of these guys that I just remembered. So they their first label they were on was Megaforce Records, I believe. Pretty sure this is correct. Eddie Trunk had a major hand in getting them signed.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I think he
Yeah.
was an A&R guy at
Yeah,
Megaforce in those days.
Yeah, that's why he's such good buddies with Ace Frehley, because he
Yeah,
had a
there you
lot
go.
to do with when that was going on, when
The
Ace
Frehley's Comet
when Ace
stuff?
was on Megaforce. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was instrumental in bringing these guys to the public consciousness.
Can't you hear it? I hear it, don't you hear it? Listen, it's all around me. It's everywhere. Oh.
Any indication, Andy, that your boys in Faith No More are fans of these guys at all? Because I mean, like when I hear that little keyboard in the back, I get a Faith No More
Really?
kind of vibe from it. Like that, would be something that they would interject into their music with Roddy Bottom's interesting approach to it.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I've never heard of any pairings or friendships or anything. But
I would think there's, definitely unconditional respect.
yeah, I'm sure.
It wouldn't be a Wolf Mother-esque reaction from Patton to these guys. One of the classic video clips of all time.
Yeah, it is.
But, I was just interested in if you knew anything about that, because just that sort of toy keyboard sound, I don't know for what, it made me think, like, I wonder if Faith No More, how they felt about these guys, because they were kind of their early careers kind of coincided.
Yeah,
really.
this is '89. That's
Yeah.
like when Faith No More was probably their biggest in America.
The
at least.
post Chuck Mosley era.
Yeah.
And they had a similar kind of sound. I mean, the very prominent bass, sort of like this similar driving.
Like you could see them being on the same bill and
yeah, you could
and a crossover audience.
Yeah.
yeah, crossover audience for sure. I would think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure, like you said, I'm sure there's respect.
I would like to
But-
think so.
but I
I
just-
mean, you never know with Patton, but
Well, he's a wild card. I wouldn't count him into it, but
I would think that, like, a lot of his peers would be respectful of King's X, if not outright fans.
yeah. Where are these guys from? I forgot to ask. that.
Katy, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never heard of Katy, Texas, but Texas band, huh?
Texas band. Texas trio a la ZZ Top.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. According to Wikipedia,
What?
Springfield, Missouri,
I don't believe that's
1979.
true. I don't think that's true.
I don't know. I'm just saying that's what
Oh boy.
That's
that's what I'm seeing here.
I was
I'm gonna
pretty.
get between these guys.
I was
Fists
pretty
are about to start flying.
pretty much a King's X nerd.
all
I'm
I'm-
not buying fucking Missouri.
All I'm
Outta
saying is that's what Wikipedia is repeatedly stating here.
Okay, well,
Interesting.
yeah,
Did they move to Katy, Texas?
yeah, no,
I don't know.
I'm not buying that.
Well, Yeah, in 1970.
How do you spell Katy?
Katy.
K-T-Y.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, heavy music didn't start in Seattle. It started in Katy, Texas with King's X, Jeff Ament of Pearl Jam. So he knows.
He knows the secret that they're not really
Well, it
from
looks like
Missouri.
King's X's own Reverb Nation page, rock music, lyrics, and videos from Katy, Texas. So fuck Wikipedia.
Maybe it's
Wikipedia gets trolled on the regular by our listeners. I'm not going to fucking...
Yeah, but this is a pretty deep troll.
I mean, they might have... so one or more of the band members might be from there originally, but they convened in Katy, Texas. That was their home base forever.
All right. I believe you. Nick's the one who doesn't.
Yeah, fuck that.
Nick's not so convinced.
Next they're going to list Jack Noseworthy as an occasional rhythm guitarist.
The toy pianist.
Right, yes, exactly. Playing the calliope on Over My Head.
Yeah, don't be surprised.
That'll be there tomorrow.
If you're listening to this episode, you might want to check right now.
Go check it.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it out, and then I just keep seeing pictures of cranberry sauce. These news pages.
What would that have to do with
I don't
it?
know. There's just ads everywhere. There's like one paragraph, then there's cranberry sauce, then there's a guy about to get eaten by a shark.
All claims to fame of Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah, exactly.
Cranberry sauce.
Shark attacks.
Shark attacks. King's X.
No, it's Katy, Texas. Let's establish that right now.
Nick?
Lies. No, I don't know.
All right,
How am I supposed to know this?
Now, right at that point, so two videos from it's 1989, right?
Yes.
Okay, two videos from that year stand out at me, stand out for me in my memory, which I'm not sure how I have memory of it, but so first one is Dr. Feelgood, and I remember watching that video upon returning to East Lansing from my summer internship in Milwaukee, and my friends and I thought it was a good welcome back ritual to do some acid that day. And I watching the Dr. Feelgood video with all those images morphing together
with
and
Mick Mars saying complete.
Yeah, and the fire and everything was just like mesmerizing. The other one is this video. I can't say for sure whether or not I was under the influence, but right around this time when Andy stopped it, there's a scene where Jerry, the drummer, and Ty, the guitar player, give each other some skin, like slapping five. And as he pulls his hand away from as they pull their hands away from each other, lightning bolts are between their fingers. Not sure why that was included, but it's just, I saw that and I was like, okay, that's fucking cool. This song was great. I'm rushing out and buying this CD, period. And it was the exact opposite of an ELO Out of the Blue situation. It took a flyer on it and became one of my all-time favorite albums instantly.
Instead of stomping on it, you laid it on the softest pillow in the house.
Pretty much. I like to say, and I've said it often over the years, that I skipped a lot of classes and burned a lot of brain cells in college cranking this album through headphones. It's amazing I still have my hearing to any degree. But yeah, this became instantly one of my all-time favorite albums.
Not that it really matters, but I think everybody's right here. I think Ty Tabor is went to, hold on, he's born in Mississippi, lived in Katy, Texas, went to college in Springfield, Missouri, where he met the other guys, started the band, and then he was kind of back and forth. And he had a studio that he built in Katy, Texas, but the band was I think
Katy, Texas
everyone's
was
right.
their home base where they recorded, so everybody knows it. Get Jeff Amen on the phone. He said it. He's not saying Springfield, Missouri. It's Katy, Texas.
He'll say whatever they tell him to say. They wrote it down for him, just like you said, the Anvil documentary.
Well, that
read this.
Could possibly be, but it's Katy, Texas. Let's just establish that now.
All right, fine.
Katy, Texas is the Secretariat of Cities in the King's X story.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, there's just a few seconds left here. There it is.
Almost erupted into the Fabulous Baker Boys there for a second.
There you go.
Okay, Chris, you picked this one from the listener submission list. So it's your turn to vote. Sweet Surrender or Kick in the Crotch.
Sweetest of surrenders.
It's sweet surrender. Hell yes.
I mean, if anything, I got kind of burned out on this song and album because I listened to it so much, like relentlessly for a solid year. But it's like any other kind of music that you've overexposed to, either by, consciously or, through listening to rock radio or however it happens. You step away from it for a while, you don't listen to it for a while, you come back and you realize it's a masterpiece. So yeah, the sweetest of surrenders for me.
Nicholas?
Sweet Surrender as well.
It's sweet surrender. Hell yes.
There were a lot of things I liked about it. I liked that it lyrically, I liked that it was just super simple, the theme.
Yeah.
It was like they talk about when rap music first started, all they rapped about was how good they rapped.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just like a very musical song about hearing music and loving music. So
yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
Doesn't need to go any deeper.
It's unapologetically simple in that regard, unless there's something I'm missing. But just it's a celebration, which is nice and refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that it broke into like a tent revival toward the end. With,
a little bit, yeah.
And it goes with the theme, talking about just music in general. It's not... These guys don't seem like they were really trying to fit in with whatever was happening, which is respectable. It might have something to do with what we've been talking about, that they are one of those bands that people say, why weren't they bigger? Mm-hmm. It could be that. They had maybe too much individual artistic integrity in that regard. Don't know, but... And I also was trying to think of that, just the main riff, that do-do-do-do-do, that kind of like descending, really cool kind of riff toward the end.
Yeah.
And
everybody was doing that in Springfield, Missouri.
Well, that's the signature sound of Springfield. And I was trying to think of what song that reminded me of, and it's only just those kind of few notes in that descending thing, but History Never Repeats by Split Enz. It has a similar.
Were you listening to that on the way here?
We were listening to when I picked Andy up. We did have Split Enz on, so I'll play that one for you on the way home.
All right,
see what you think.
This might be the first time King's X has ever been compared to both In Excess and Split Ends in any context, which is not these are not bad comparisons. I've personally never heard them before, but I can see where people would hear it.
Oh, we're weird.
Now here's a guy. I'd be shocked if he wasn't a King's X fan. Tell me if you know whether he is or not. Tom Howell. I mean, he's got to be a King's X.
I would imagine he would.
I would say yes.
He would respect them for their musicianship. Whether he's a big fan of where he has the albums and knows the songs, I don't know.
I mean, the band he's in now, it's kind of similar to that. Just, if for no other reason than it's, interracial band, and that's kind of a... Well, I don't mean to be
but it has
petty about it, but,
But that it also kind of...
But there's a certain
comes
sound.
across in the sound, too. Where there's like a little bit of like soul...
Yeah, and then,
the vocal delivery.
It's the thing, it's like you don't want to be trite by saying, oh, there's black guys in the band, so they've got soul, and I'm not impugning you for saying that, but I'm just
but it's in the delivery. There's it's like a gospel-y delivery on some of them.
Exactly right.
And for most listeners right now, Tom Howell's a friend of ours. He was in a band with Andy and I. Oh, okay, never mind. He's more famous than we are, probably, right?
Yeah.
Well, most people are.
Yeah. And that's, that's what
anyone is. Any bum off the street.
Yeah,
is.
Pretty much. The women Nick saw fighting outside of the Mexican restaurant several years ago are more famous than us.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. But yeah, one of the Mean Reds peer bands back in the day was called Infraction, interracial band, worshipped King's X. So, it just kind of makes sense from that standpoint. But I'd be shocked if Tom Howell wasn't a major fan of these guys.
I keep wondering about Extreme and King's X, because there's a lot of similarity that I hear in the delivery, in like just kind of the whole spirit of the band, if that makes any sense. I wonder, who... Well, it looks like King's X had been around technically since the late 70s. Whether the guys in Extreme would have heard of them.
Their first album as King's X came out, I believe, in 88, possibly.
So then Extreme would have been...
So you had, Living Colour, King's X, Dan Reed Network was another band that went under the radar, but had the same vibe to them. It was an Extreme, definitely captured that. I think they were a little... I don't know what the right word is. I think they were a little more, intentionally trying to be commercial and funky and whatnot.
And in the vocals, I hear similarities.
Yeah. Sharon is a solid vocalist, good front man. Takes a lot of heat for what happened with Van Halen 3, but what's he going to do? Say no to the invitation to join Van Halen? I don't think so.
Mm-mm. Who would? Nobody would.
Nobody would. No, you'd be stupid to do that.
Especially if you were in that position that he was in, where Extreme wasn't exactly, selling out stadiums at the time. Oh, all right. Oh, I didn't vote yet.
You didn't vote yet.
I, too, will give it a Sweet Surrender. No drama here.
It's Sweet Surrender. Hell yes.
From what I've heard of King's X, I don't remember as much like straight ahead, clap your hands, happy music. Not that it was like metal, but you know what I mean? From the stuff I heard, it wasn't as cheerful as this. At least not all of it. But yeah, it was cool. It was refreshing, like Nick said, even though it's, 32 years old?
Yeah.
Do the math real quick by looking at a blank screen on a watch. Got that figured out. Yeah, but
Man,
cool.
32 years. Jesus.
Right?
Craziness.
It's crazy. But yeah, I think it's cool. Like I said, the gospel thing came across, especially on that middle section with the clapping. You were focused in on the toy piano. I was just thinking about the clapping and, like the little bit of vocal acrobatics that were going on there.
There were a lot of those.
Black people being flung into the air, a la Blues Brothers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Doing literal acrobatics.
Yeah, flying 30 feet in the air.
The Jesse White tumblers coming to the
Right,
scene.
yep, exactly.
Yeah, but it's cool. Guess what, guys? 3 Sweet Surrenders. I don't even have this clip. It's been so long.
Yeah, it has
Has it
been a
really
while.
been that long?
It's been a few weeks.
It's been
Yeah.
a while since we've heard this one, I think.
Well, it's time.
All right, Hammond. I got a question for you.
Paul Stanley's got to know. Should I book these guys on my cruise in 30 years?
Yes. Absolutely.
Who wants to know if Over My Head is a rock and roll boner classic, as voted by Nick, Chris, and Andy in this room.
I think the last classic we had was Limp Misfit, right?
Yeah, I think that was.
Yeah, that was unmistakable.
Yeah, everyone knew that from play.
Yeah, other than that, it's been a while. Well, Cat Scratch Fever, Nugent, that made it right as it should have. Other than that, yeah,
It's
hasn't been many.
Almost a month.
Well, my vote's in.
Your vote's
I mean,
in.
I think Andy is going to be the... I don't know. Andy should vote last, I think.
Okay. Nick's got his Kiss Dynasty Live t-shirt on today.
I do.
Let's see what kind of mood you're in.
Pop music
Yep.
kind of mood.
Mm-hmm. Bing, 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 bing.
Who's going first? Me?
No, I'll go first. My vote's obvious. Everybody knows what it's going to be. At least they should.
I'm ready.
All right, Chris, Nick, Andy.
We ready?
Yeah.
Rock.
Roll.
Boner.
You did it.
It's a rock and roll ball.
I was looking for a reason to shoot it down, which is not the
Well,
mindset you should be coming from. But I was thinking, is there one? And other than the fact that I'm not that familiar with it, or I'm not familiar with this at all, but not that familiar with the band, that's all I had. So that's not good enough reasons.
yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, it's one of 2, maybe 3 songs that you would say this is their true signature song.
It's a slam dunk, I would say.
Yeah,
Not just because there's a
it was
man
the right
of color in the band.
It was well.
And
Careful here, guys.
well, it could be a 3-point contest with the other 2 guys.
They got their own all-star team right there.
Yeah, exactly. It was the right decision on your part, so you saved yourself a lot of grief from the listeners.
Yeah. And that's not why I did it. I just, like I said, I was thinking about it. I've got no reason to, other than if I was just being a dick for the sake of being a dick, which I'm not going to,
You could do that.
We
We've
could.
done it. We've all done it. I
but
think.
not for the reason of fake drama.
No, I mean, these guys are worthy of all the respect they get. And when they come through town, you'll find them at Reggie's, and there'll be probably 20 people there.
Yeah. And they'll be
And they'll be coming out and kicking ass.
Yeah.
And it's really... I mean, there was one point that Doug kind of laid it out there in like a blog on either his personal website or the band's website, where he just dumped it all out there about how frustrated he was that they never really became more successful.
Really.
But other than that, they just kept their heads down and putting out albums and touring them, and just every time you see them, you're in for a treat. And the musicianship is great. You watch Jerry Gaskill, the drummer, in action. He's just insane behind the kid. And I think he said multiple heart attacks, and
wow.
Oh, jeez.
is still out there doing it. So these guys are pretty incredible. I think most people listening to this show are aware of them, and
Yeah, I know we've got a few big fans out that listen pretty
Yeah.
regularly, so I'm sure I'm sure the reception that this song got will not be contradicted by too many people.
No, I wouldn't think so.
That's good. All right, well, if you're crazy and you disagree with us, we're sorry.
You're crazy.
That's just the fucking way it is.
Deal with it. You know what else it's time to deal with? It's time to deal with another commercial.
Oh, thank goodness.
What do you think of that one, Nick?
I thought that was a disgrace
Terrible.
to the advertising industry.
Racially insensitive.
Oh, yeah, I was offended. I'm not even one of those people.
I'm offended for them. I'm an ally. All right. Guys, here's what it's really time for.
I don't get yards of questions. Motherfucker, I give them.
Sing away.
Yes, Chief.
See, Jim Brown kind of had that soul in his voice when he was delivering that
I don't know if that was soul or venom.
line. It's all in the delivery. That's the difference, you know. If they'd had a white guy playing that character, it wouldn't have the same delivery.
That's true.
Uh-oh.
I'm debating. I'm reading these questions here. I'm trying to differentiate this.
So many good ones this
These
week.
recent submissions.
Yeah. This is from last Friday. Let's see. Okay, let's try this because this guy's the name of this person caught my eye. So we're gonna go
Okay.
with this one. Actually, there's two in a row where they're very
So we can credit
Unique
his
names.
parents with.
no.
Okay.
No.
Is this Greg from my high school?
Ooh, this is good too.
Oh, baby.
Flip a coin.
I mean, you got a more enthusiastic reaction from the second set you just looked at, from my estimation.
All right, I'm going to give you the second one next week. I'm going to give you the second one now, first one next week, unless someone tops it. Here we go. Also a unique name. This week's Yardo Questions comes to us from Fielding Fowler.
Okay. I believe I've seen that name on our social media.
Fielding. Dan Fielding. Bad day today. Mac from Night Court passed away.
Yeah.
Today?
Yes.
Yeah.
75.
Get out of here.
I was
Several
I was
ailments.
out in front by where Andy is, waiting for him to come out to the car. Just hopped on my phone. I was like, wait a minute. Charlie Robinson? Gone.
All right.
Well, that's a damn shame.
Yeah.
Another soulful individual, if you will.
Him and his on-screen romance with the Sun Yi character.
Forgot about that.
Always funny.
Revolutionary.
Always funny.
All right, here we go. Fielding says, "Hello, lads. These are all questions about bands or artists who are billed solo or the band is named for someone other than the lead singer."
Okay.
This is a fun theme. Question 1. Ted Nugent. Who is Ted's best lead singer besides himself? Derek St. Holmes, Charlie Hunn, or Meatloaf? If anyone other than Chris L. knows, Meat did a song
I didn't
on a
know
Nuge record.
I
I will
didn't know
fall
that.
over dead.
I did not know
So
that.
none of us knew that, including Chris. But
I think I'm gonna go Jack Blades.
Oh, there's a twist. Damn Yankees.
Didn't he sing "Don't Tread"? He's my winner.
okay.
I think he also sang like Coming of Age and some of the other hits.
Although Derek St. Holmes, I believe I mentioned this, that his vocals on Stranglehold are all-time,
Well,
belong in some sort of all-time great Hall of Fame
well that
rock,
whole
rock
song
vocal.
that whole song
Yeah.
is lightning in a bottle personified. I'm voting St. Holmes because he was another one who performed on the Kiss cruise I was on. It was Whitford St. Holmes.
That's true.
And
I
they
forgot
were
about
great.
that.
They were great. And saw Derek St. Holmes in Cozumel when the ship had docked. Saw him walking down the street. Didn't Didn't pester him for a photo op, but a couple storefronts later, I ran into Scotty Hill of Skid Row and got a photo op with him. Great guy. But yeah, St. Holmes for me, big time. Detroit guy. How could you not?
All right. Question 2.
Stormtrooping, Snakeskin Cowboys. I mean, go down the list of great St. Holmes vocal performances in Ted's band.
Question 2. Sammy Hagar, lead singer for 2 great bands named for someone else.
Oh, true.
Was he better in Montrose or Van Halen?
I only know a bit of his Montrose stuff. Of course, everybody knows Rock Candy.
Unfortunately. No, I'm kidding. Just thinking. Hagar and his
I don't know.
sexual innuendo for...
Yeah, I mean, that was like the beginning of, Rock Candy's a iconic song, but, it's like, you're rock candy, baby, hard, sweet, and sticky is his lyric in that one. The precursor of many terrible lyrics to come.
I mean, he had... I don't know. I'll have to just go with Van Halen because he did have some songs that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
And you can't deny it. I know there's, for whatever reason, it's like you have to pick between the David Lee Roth era and the Sammy Hagar era.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can't deny it. There's some songs that I really don't like, obviously.
Yeah.
Because we covered one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, like Summer Nights, Run Around.
Yeah, those are 2 of my favorites.
I heard somebody just the other day. I was in my car, had the windows down a little bit, and I heard someone blasting Dreams for some reason.
Awesome.
I was immediately looking to see if the Blue Angels were flying over, but no luck.
No.
Yeah, I mean, the self-titled Montrose album is a classic. Some good lyrics on that album. Most notably the opening salvo of what should possibly be Andy's theme song called "I Don't Want It." Would be, well, I gave love a chance and it shit back in my face.
Oh my!
It's quite a opening salvo. And then the second album, Paper Money, is pretty cool too, but schmaltzy ballads aside, and the occasional Up for Breakfast. I mean, the rockers that he did with Van Halen have got something behind them, some good stuff going on there.
I mean, and his solo stuff too. There are a few songs that I really like.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's say what you will. We teased him in the Up for Breakfast and the what was the
Chicken Foot?
The Chicken
Oh,
Foot
yeah.
song. Yeah. But it's pretty consistent. It has puts in some good stuff no matter what.
And he's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
People love him. And I think we're harder on him than he deserves. Not that it's holding him back in any way what we fucking think of him, but of those two, I'm actually gonna have to go with Van Halen as well, just because there's more to choose from, and plus you got the Eddie factor, so, and the Alex factor, by the way.
All right. Question 3. Santana. 2-part question. Does anyone give a shit who his lead singers were? And should he have quit the business completely rather than letting Rob Thomas sing lead on a song?
No, I mean, well, from a business standpoint,
Yeah.
you still hear that song. That's his biggest song probably he's ever been a part of.
Well,
No,
and
probably.
It's
Yeah, for
whatever
sure.
we think about it, his accountant and himself, from living comfortably, is very glad he listened to Clive Davis and did those albums with multiple singers. So
Yeah, I can't argue that. I was only a fan of that song when Andy used to sing it sometimes.
Andy used to sing
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Why wouldn't I?
Andy could do a killer Rob Thomas when he wants to.
When the time comes, it'll
But-
happen. But
And you should do a Matchbox 20 tribute band.
be more successful than a Faith No More tribute band. So here's an interesting thing. I don't know what the criteria for this is, but Smooth. It is ranked as Billboard's second most successful song of all time.
Oh, well, then I guess it would be his
See,
Rock song. Second most
Unless
successful
Oye
rock song.
Como Va is number one, then I guess that's...
It's The Twist by Chubby Checker.
well,
You're kidding.
Nope.
It's second to that?
Yes.
I thought Let's Twist Again was a bigger hit.
It's number 3. No. I don't know what the
No,
criteria
I
is.
read that somewhere. I thought
Actually, it was The Twist by the Fat Boys.
Well,
It's number 3.
Oh, man.
In fact, it's The Twist by the Fat Boys is number 1, not the original.
That might be it.
So now here's something that's interesting. And I know this is not accurate, but I always look up these so-and-so's net worth on the internet.
Yeah.
Rob Thomas co-wrote Smooth, yes.
Yes, he did.
Second most successful single of all time, right?
That's what Billboard says.
His net worth is a comparatively paltry $17 million, according to this
That's
website.
horseshit.
I mean, what went wrong there? I mean, you would think just on the strength of that song alone would put you up into the triple digits of millions. What the hell happened?
I don't know.
He got rooked out of his money by Clive Davis.
It's a bad deal. Somewhere.
Carlos, on the other hand, is worth $120 million, which, you know, he has a bigger catalog. But Rob Thomas, the Matchbox 20 stuff was popular.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
I don't know.
Who fucked him over?
We need to find out.
Some bad investments, maybe?
Jesus.
You open some restaurants?
Yeah. Could be.
Could be.
Santana started designing women's shoes. What did Rob Thomas do? That,
While Rob Thomas was out getting Caesar haircuts in the 90s, people were robbing him blind.
apparently.
The fuck, man?
appropriate
That's
for-
shocking.
That's appropriate for backstabbing.
I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound ridiculous because, you know,
Oh, boy.
17 million is a lot of money, but not for writing Smooth.
No, it's not.
I mean,
You still hear
what,
that
What the
song.
hell went wrong?
I mean,
It's shocking.
try
to me.
going to a college football game and not hearing the marching band do that at halftime.
It's not going to happen.
I don't know how. I haven't gone to even that many college football games in my life. Probably almost every time I've been there, the band plays part of that.
Who plays the guitar lead? What instrument?
It's the whole horn
French
section.
horn, probably.
Yeah, the whole horn section is covering it.
Okay. Interesting.
And, you know, and just on a whim, you know, Chris Jericho's net worth $18 million. He's worth more than Rob Thomas. Rob Thomas wrote fucking Smooth. How
true.
is that possible? It's got to be wrong. It's got to. You
gotta
know,
be wrong.
everybody always says, "Oh, those things aren't accurate," and we know they're not accurate. But
but still.
it's
Then
still fun to look at.
Maybe
and
he
it's-
signed a bad deal.
a real bad deal.
Santana and Davis fucked him. It's as simple as that. The strength of that single alone should put you up into the fucking triple digits.
Yeah, he wrote that song. He didn't even write it with Santana.
Yeah, exactly.
Some other guy. What the hell? Who's this guy? Oh, I gotta see. No one cares, but I need to find out. It's some composer, musician, producer.
Guy rolling in it.
Not a guy who was known for his name, but more for his writing.
That's the way to do it.
It is. You can still do whatever you want, but you...
Okay. Chubby Checker, by the way, is still alive, yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
My
Here's
God.
another fuck job. Chubby Checker, net worth $4 million. What the fuck? Who's fucking these guys? The writers of the top 2 singles of all time are getting
Unbelievable.
screwed.
I just acquired a Chubby Checker LP a couple weeks ago.
Yeah?
The Limbo Party LP.
What do you think?
Pretty great.
Yeah.
His La Bamba. He somehow makes La Bamba a limbo song and it works.
And yet he's only worth $4 million.
Yeah. Yeah, I
What
don't
the
know.
fuck is up with that? That's ridiculous. Then I've got another page here that just interesting assortment of SEO words. Listen to this. Chubby checker, age, height, weight, net worth 2021, wife, kids, gay, girlfriend. I mean, what? They're just dumping everything out in hopes of capturing searches for chubby checker. And he's worth $4 million. That's astonishing.
I mean, you'd think he made more than that off the Fat Boys record.
You would think.
That was a huge record.
Fucking Fat Boys have got to be worth more than him. Well, the ones who are still alive. But
Yeah.
are any of them still
gonna say,
alive?
Cool Rockski's still alive.
Okay.
Cool Rockski is his name?
Yeah. Cool Polak, they call him too.
Fat Boys. Let's see.
Yeah. If this is less than $2 billion, if this isn't Ross Perot money, then I'm
Cool Rockski. Damon Wembley. See if he's even listed. Oh boy. Let's see. David Wembley.
It's gonna be a letdown.
I don't even think he's probably listed, but we'll find out. Well, it's coming up. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
David Wembley net worth. David Wembley is an American rapper and actor who has a net worth of $400,000.
All right. Hey.
I don't know, man.
$400,000, nothing to sneeze at, though.
No, but the Fat Boys.
These guys were huge stars in the 80s, man. What happened? They got fucked. It's better than nothing, but still. I mean, these guys were giants of entertainment.
They had a movie.
Yeah. Disorderlies, right?
Yep.
That'd be a good watch-along
Yeah, it would.
movie at some point.
Andy and I watched that. I don't know how many times.
Every time I see one of those swimming pools with a chair, there's one at the hotel that we were staying at a while back. I went in the pool every day and just laughed to myself because there's a scene. Comedy ensues.
Yeah, of course.
The old guy falls out of the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed out to read about these fuck jobs that happen to these giants of entertainment. And I'm not even I'm not necessarily a Rob Thomas fan. I don't dislike Rob Thomas. I don't dislike Matchbox 20, but even Matchbox 20 had several huge singles.
Yeah.
$17 million bucks. What the fuck happened?
I don't know. Something happened.
Jesus, that blows my mind, man. I would have thought easily 200 million.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Did you ever see that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with Rob Thomas?
I've not.
It's just like a quick cameo at the end, but there's a scene, I forgot what the whole plot was, but one of the guys ends up in like an insane asylum for something, after something he did, and he wakes up and his, cellmates or whatever they're called, not cellmates, whatever the term is, his two roommates are Rob Thomas and Sinbad. And it's just like that's who he's in there with. But they don't even say like whether or not they're really there or the guy's crazy and he's imagining it, but the guys in the scene.
But those are the two people.
Yeah, who are in the room with
That's
him.
good company.
It is. But I was pleased to see that because I don't know anything about Rob Thomas as a person. I thought, okay, he's got a sense of humor. They hit him up to do this scene and he showed up.
Well, now you mention it. Let's see what Sinbad's net worth is.
I hope he's doing all right.
Do they have enough zeros?
Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Oh.
What's your guess before we...
32 million.
I'm going to say like 3 million.
Sinbad is a Michigan-born actor and comedian who has a net worth of $4 million.
Yeah, bullshit. He's within how many movies? He had a sitcom?
These guys are getting fucked left and
No.
right, man.
No way. No way. He was in like 10 movies.
Yeah. And he sells out
every everywhere.
time he does a stand-up
He's had
event.
specials
Yeah.
on TV. No way. Comedy albums back when that probably made this shitload of money to release that stuff.
He's an all-time great.
Okay, here's an interesting twist. David Adkins, who goes by the stage name Sinbad, has a negative net worth. He filed for bankruptcy in the summer of 2013, declaring $11 million in debts. I don't know
Sinbad.
how it happened.
So he climbed out of that at least.
Also says he's 6'5". Did you know that?
He's a big man.
Did
yeah.
not know he was that tall.
A large fella. I knew that.
Hope he's recovering.
And he had a stroke.
He had a stroke, what, last year?
Really?
Yeah.
After doing... Wasn't the material about strokes before that?
He had a great thing about stroke. Yeah.
He don't get strokes, motherfucker. He gives them.
He had a thing about dating younger women
Oh.
and how you don't need that at a certain age. You need a woman who's going to be able to identify if you're having a stroke. He's a brilliant comedian.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the respect he deserves. He's one of those people that if, you know, Mark Maron is not gonna say he's a real deal kind of guy.
Well,
He
cares what
never
he
went
thinks.
into the darkness and came out.
Apparently he did. He was bankrupt.
Well, that's financial darkness, yeah.
Yeah. That's plenty. That's all the darkness you need. That's real darkness. All right.
How
Well,
about Mark Maron net
There we go.
worth?
There we go.
You guys ready?
He's probably rolling in it now.
Any guesses?
3 million. Wait, is that what Sinbad was? No, he was 4 million.
That was four. I'm gonna say,
say 3.
I'm gonna say like 9.
Mark Maron is an American stand-up comedian and actor who has a net worth of $4 million.
wow.
So he's on the same level as Sinbad. He got to keep his mouth shut about Sinbad.
Only financially.
Well, yeah, right, but yes. Just keep your mouth shut about Sinbad. How's that?
Goes for all of you listening
Exactly.
too.
Everybody, you're on
That should be at
notice.
a T-shirt. Keep your mouth shut about Sinbad.
I'd buy one.
I still have a picture of Sinbad in my guitar case
I forgot about
that
that.
I've had for well over 20 years.
Yeah, since
picture
the
of
late
Sinbad
90s.
inside of it.
Like a
What's wrong
little,
with that?
like a little 3-inch, almost like a class picture size cutout from a magazine.
Yeah.
Underneath where the neck lay, or is it where the headstock?
Where the headstock is.
Yeah.
Like the accessories compartment.
No, not even.
Well,
just right under.
Oh, just
right
right
under
on. Okay, I get
Yeah,
what you're saying.
always.
All right,
Yep. So you always see it every time you pick up the
nothing
guitar.
wrong with that.
Alrighty, guys. That's gonna do it today. Thank you, Fielding, and thank you to
Sinbad
Sinbad for being Sinbad,
and Rob Thomas
Rob Thomas
for doing that scene.
Kevin Williams
and
for
Rich, your boy Rich Zai.
yeah, Rich Zai. Another Guitar Center alum. Those were the days.
Yep. Alrighty, well, you know how to do it. Go to potofthunder.com, click that shit, type it in, it shows up, you get it.
You're so
Everybody knows.
so street
Today,
sometimes.
well, you know, I can't help it. I've got a backwards cap on today.
Yeah,
My Pot of Thunder dad hat,
good for you.
still available. Unless they've been damaged in my house, I'm not sure. I have to go find them. All right, we'll be back next week with more Pod of Sinbad.
When podcast rules the game, yeah. Ooh.
When Sinbad rules the game.